Well, Chris Hemsworth returns to the big screen in Thor, Love and Thunder.
And he gets reunited with Jane.
And Milton is reunited with Kevin on season 2 of the Finding Good podcast. Finally.
Yes! We are back in our new room, our new studio.
I can go like this.
Yeah.
And this.
Like
and this.
every time we did that last season, I got poked in the eye.
It's true
Good
story.
thing I wore glasses. But Kevin, we're back. We've been down for a few months. We had to take a pause on the Finding Good podcast.
We did.
But for good reasons, right? You know, of course, we had to build this new studio. And but what you been doing during this time since we've been having this break?
It has been the summer during our break.
Yes.
And so we've been doing a lot of baseball with the boys.
Oh, that's cool.
Carting my girl around to all her friends.
Yeah.
You know, 2 kids, and they're both teenagers, so the schedules are busy. And
Right.
she's got a job now, Roaring Springs. We're doing a lot of Roaring Springs stuff and water stuff. But I mean, that's life. It just keeps going.
Life keeps going. I've got my 2, one started her new job, doing an internship with Marriott, so that's been exciting.
Wow.
And just like driving up and down from Southern California, that's not that much fun, actually.
No.
But you know, life keeps going. Relaunching my church,
Wow.
through the pandemic thing and getting everything going again. So that's been fun. But this is where the fun happens, right here at the Finding Good podcast.
I have missed going to the theater to watch movies, but most of all, I've missed going with you.
It's been
to watch
great, huh?
movies. Yes, because you are a full body moviegoer.
I can't help it.
And it's a unique experience.
Glad I can entertain you along with the
right.
the movies. But we do want to warn you, we are going to jump into Thor, Love and Thunder, Thor 4. We are going to talk spoilers during this. So if you haven't seen it yet and you care, hit pause, go see the movie, come back, and we'll be here waiting for you.
Yes. So this is the 4th Thor.
Yes.
So we had horrible, and then we had even worse, and then we had really good, like Ragnarok. Ragnarok. Well, I haven't learned how to pronounce things any better during our break.
No.
But it was a really good movie. And then now we're back to really bad.
Look, you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong, and you're wrong. Okay? No, you're right.
You don't agree with any of those?
The point is that the original Thor was a great start to the Thor movie, okay? The second, you're right, that one was not good.
Horrible.
Dark World. Ragnarok, amazing, wonderful. And this was, well, we'll talk about this one. But I know what your problem is. I know what your problem is.
I'm sure you
your
do.
problem is that you do not respect the acting skills of one Natalie Portman, who is a great actress.
She is. I can't pronounce this well enough. She is the worst.
She's
the
not.
worst.
She's
like,
not.
she's so bad.
No, she is not. Listen.
But here's the deal. Natalie is in 1 and 2, not great movies. She was totally absent in number 3, one of the best Marvel movies ever, and now she's back in 4, and she just brought it down. The whole movie was really good, but she's just not a comedic actress.
Listen. Again, check out her filmography. She is a great actress, okay? Check out movies like The Professional.
Okay, but
check out
that's
movies like Heat. Check out movies like Jackie. These are all great films where she does a great job in them.
I just don't think your argument holds up, and here's why. If I'm really great at soccer and I go play soccer, that doesn't mean I'm going to come over and be great at tennis. And just, like, if I'm good at one sport and not good at the other, I'm just not good at this one.
Some people are good at multiple things.
Not Natalie Portman.
Your problem is, it's you and all you millennials, is that you've only been exposed to her mostly through the Star Wars movies.
Right.
The 1, 2, and 3, which are the worst of all the Star Wars movies.
Because
we
of
will all
Natalie
admit, except 3. 3 was good. But it's not her fault that she was given bad material. She did the best she could with bad material. She's an awesome actress.
All right, so we're going to have to absolutely already agree to disagree on this point.
Yeah.
But
we agree you're wrong.
Let's talk about the movie at large, because I think the movie at large was actually pretty solid.
Okay.
And so we'll just gloss over the poop that Natalie Portman is, and we'll look at the movie at large. Taika Waititi, What's his name?
Taika
I don't
Waititi.
Taika?
Taika.
That's how you say his name?
Yeah, Taika.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't research this stuff. It's boring.
Obviously.
It doesn't help either, because then I research and I still get it wrong.
Well, he has one of the most unique voices
He does.
in Hollywood. He's got a very interesting approach to comedy, which you either love or hate. You know, it's kind of weird, but I find it funny because there's still the junior high boy still exists inside of me.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Yes, and they tripled down on humor.
Oh my goodness.
What
yeah.
worked in the last movie, they tripled down on this, and it's throughout
for
the whole
sure.
thing.
Yeah. Now let's talk villain here.
'Kay.
Christian Bale comes in as the villain,
Yeah.
and wow.
Fantastic.
My favorite villain in all the MCU has been Thanos.
Okay.
Complicated, you know, but this is number 2. This guy, Gore, I think his name was in the film.
Yes. Yeah, Gore the
Gore.
God Butcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The God Slayer, wasn't it? Or
Butcher.
It was
I think it's
Butcher?
Butcher.
Okay. What a great portrayal. Christian Bale's a great actor. I mean,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, hello, Batman, right? So yeah, great villain, complicated story, which we'll dive in a little bit deeper.
He did. You talked a little bit about comparing him with Hela, which was a
Hela.
villain.
Yes.
One of my favorite MCU villains
Yeah.
of all time. I just think she was great.
She is.
But I will agree with you that she did not have the emotional depth that Christian Bale's character had. She just wanted to just destroy everything.
Right.
Yeah, just burn it all to the ground.
All to the ground. And Christian Bale, he actually had an emotional arc, something that was carrying him to do this horrific thing, honestly, you know.
Well, killing gods, yeah.
Yeah.
Slaying people all over the place, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not great.
No. Now, in comparison to Ragnarok, which we will agree on this, Ragnarok is the best of the Thor movies.
Fantastic.
Of the Thor movies.
By far.
And we compare this one. I struggle to decide which one I like better because I feel like the humor in this movie was a little campier, a little spoofier.
Sure.
Right? And there was much more emotion. And there was less emotion in Ragnarok, and I felt the comedy in Ragnarok was a little more muted and done better. So, I don't know. It was a
balance.
better balance in
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
I thought the 17th goat joke in this one, that was a little much. I was okay at 16, but 17 was like, okay, we get it.
It did get me when they crashed into that planet. That
I almost lost it. I almost dropped my popcorn. It was
so good.
That was the worst. There are some things I got to talk about.
Okay.
Beyond what we've already mentioned, and to me this is kind of a serious thing.
Okay.
There was the scene in the movie that everybody was talking about. This
Okay,
is
what scene was
the
that?
flick scene, the big Thor reveal.
Gotcha.
You know, where we saw Thor's hammer, like that scene. You know, and
Sometimes you say things that
Just
make
to
me
see how-
wonder if I want to do this
just
anymore.
to see how you'll react. That's
Listen,
really all it's about.
Okay. As a parent of young children, I get where you're coming from, but come on, you gotta relax a little bit. You gotta relax a little bit. It's just two pieces of flesh stuck together.
But here's the deal. Here's why I'm concerned. It's
Okay.
because when I go into McDonald's,
Okay, yeah.
there's a big giant thing promoting Thor Happy Meals. This is a
Okay.
PG-13 movie.
Okay.
That now has nudity in it. And
Technically, yes, it has nudity in it.
And
You're right.
we are promoting this to Happy Meal age kids. I just think the disconnect is getting larger. And I think it speaks higher to the society of the comfort level of when are we introducing our kids to this kind of stuff. The curiosity of it and what it could unlock for all kids.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I just have concerns.
It's like a slippery slope kind of argument.
Very
you're
much so,
having.
yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this question. How many times have we seen the butts of minions? I mean, am I wrong here? Like,
Yeah, but
but because they're cartoon and yellow, I mean,
All right. Well, that's
Well,
a slippery slope on purpose.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I just got to call out, and as
Okay.
parents, if you haven't seen it yet, I think it's something that has been talked about a lot. Be aware that's in there.
It definitely is in there, and no matter how many times they blur it out in the scene in the trailer, it's not blurred out in the movie. So just be prepared to see the backside of Chris Hemsworth.
There you go.
Okay.
But I do appreciate the humor, the action, the emotion, and the balance of all of it. So.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit deeper into this movie. Some
right.
of the messages that it's bringing out. The movie starts with Thor, and the last time we saw Thor, it was at the end of Endgame, where he basically had lost his purpose. He had become this big, tubby version of
Right.
Thor, Big Lebowski version of Thor, and he lost his way. Yeah. And this movie is about him trying to find that again, and that's not something that many of us are foreign to.
No.
Right? The experience of not sure who we are, maybe thinking we're going in one direction, whether it's in a relationship or a career or I don't know, so many other options, and then it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to, and now all of a sudden you find yourself without purpose or without direction. Have you had that kind of experience in your life?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
You having it right now?
Absolutely. Yeah, what am I doing here? Where are we going with this? No, I think it was definitely a major theme of the movie of what do you do when you've lost your way?
Right.
And how do you come out of that? And I think we handle that two different ways.
Okay.
We isolate, and I could say I isolate, I hole up, I don't seek community. I don't take care of myself mentally and physically, and you just kind of slowly deteriorate. Or you can do what we didn't see with Thor's character and started to see in this movie is find community. Mm-hmm. And I certainly that has certainly been my way out of these times, where you just look around. And it's interesting how fast it happens and how slow it happens.
Right.
You don't just instantly get there. You slide down, and then all of a sudden you hit that bottom, and you're like, I don't like where I'm at. I don't like who I'm with. I don't like what I've surrounded myself with. I don't like what I'm doing, and how do I get out? And on the reverse side, it's not a jump out of the pit. It's I got to call some people and start getting real. Start facing reality and crawl myself out. So community has been the thing that has helped me.
Yeah,
for sure.
I remember a time that I was in a relationship with a young lady that I thought was going really well, and I thought could have been like the one, at one point. And then when that fell apart, when she basically dumped me, believe it or not, I've been dumped before.
Wow.
You don't believe it?
No.
It happened. It did. Yeah, that was a tough year. But
okay, yeah.
But recentering myself with the good friends that I had, this happened during college, my college years. Recentering myself with also a purpose I was serving at my church, and just diving deep with the people that I was around, and finding the things that I was familiar with that were bringing great things into my life, and just jumping headfirst into those things and trying to put that behind me, that really made a difference. But yeah, I think you're right. The people that are around you, and Star-Lord told Thor that, when you're
Great
lost, just look into the eyes of the people you love, right? And I think there's such a great message there that we need to remember, because you're right, we tend to just kind of pull away, because I don't know if it's shame or if it's just this feels good, just me being by myself and just forgetting everything that's around me. But that's when you need people the most.
Sure.
In those moments.
I also think it's failure. And so there's a lot of times I know in my life where I've doubled down on that failure. Yeah. Instead of admitting the fault and admitting where I'm at and admitting that I need help, I actually go, no, I can fix this. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna keep going this direction, and it'll get better. Yeah. And it never does. When you have that gut check that things aren't great, that's when you should start picking up the phone.
Right.
Having coffee.
Yeah.
Getting out of the house. eating a salad.
Right.
For
Yeah.
in Thor's case.
Thanks for hitting below the belt on that one. Now let's jump to Christian Bale's character, because we have two great arcs in this story. We have Thor's arc, and then we have Gore's arc, right? And this one, as a person of faith and a pastor of a church, this one really hits hard to me, because it's a man who gets disappointed by his God. And that is such a common story. People who have been disappointed by either God or God's people, and then they turn their backs on God. Now, Gore went to the whole nother level of like, okay, I'm going to eliminate these gods, but most people just like, I'm going to eliminate God from my life, and I'm just going to turn my back on God. What has that ever happened to you, where God has let you down in some way, and how did you deal with that?
Honestly, I think it's the reverse.
Okay.
Me. So I don't think it's necessarily God letting me down. I think it's more me letting God down.
Okay.
And knowing that, and not being able to face him, and then slandering his character by not showing up for the grace and the love that I know. So in a way, it's the same thing. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's not understanding. It's not understanding who he is in my life. It's taking the judgment and the disappointment to a different level, and then the separation happens. Definitely, I think there's a lot of similarity there, and I'm sure as a pastor you've heard a lot of stories.
Sure.
It's not something that many would probably just admit in everyday conversation, but I'm sure you hear the heartbreak of God disappointing us when family members die,
Right.
or when addictions don't get healed, or when our own bodies are not recovered.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that can go wrong in our human experience, and then when we put God into the mix, whether he's causing it or whether we're causing it and not admitting it, it can get a giant mess.
Yeah. I'll tell you one story that happened during our break.
Okay, so, of course, COVID was a thing, right? And
I was in a situation which could have easily become a person blaming God and saying, God, you did this to me. And it was a lady whose mom was in the hospital with COVID. They for some reason, they let me come in as the pastor into a room, and I watched that lady take her last breath and pass away. And me being there with the family, helping them as they cried their tears, as they asked their questions, and I've seen this play out before. God, you didn't heal my mom, so why should I trust in you? And the opposite happened. The person became even stronger in her faith and rededicated herself to God's purposes in her life. And as I analyze that situation, and I'm saying, God, why did it turn in the way I wasn't expecting it to turn? And it was as simple, and it's what we said before, because the community came around her and the rest of the family and was there for her and cried with her and questioned with her and prayed with her and the whole family. And I think that, to me, again, I come back to this over and over in so many situations. A strong community can help us go through almost the worst things and come out well at the other end. So I think disappointment is more likely when you're dealing with things by yourself.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because if God's people come through, God has just demonstrated something about himself that you didn't know before, and he's showing his love through others.
Yeah. One more thing that I would just throw in there is not only lean on community, but something that you can do, something that we can do, is dig that deep well now in health.
Yes.
So that it's there when you need it. And so that we're not going and asking these big crisis questions to God when it hits, but we're asking those before it hits. Mm-hmm. We're making sure that our relationship is strong, that our foundation is strong, that we are feeding ourselves these truths. And that way, when life fails, we don't look at God and go, what the heck.
Yeah.
We actually have somewhere to go with those questions. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that does it for the first episode of season 2 of the Finding Good podcast. And so I forgot how we end. Oh, like the video.
there you go.
Subscribe, share it with a friend, and we're going to be back.
Yes, we will.
Because we got more movies and more episodes and so much fun things to share with you. So thank you for being with us. And I guess this is us saying, see you later.